In the morning when I rise, give me Jesus.
Good morning. So we've talked about the belt of truth, we've talked about the breastplate of righteousness, and we've talked about our feet shod with the sandals of peace, the gospel of peace. And all of those are Jesus. Now we're hitting on what I think may be the biggest piece of armor that we have. It's certainly a critical piece of armor. And we see it in verse 16. It says this, Ephesians 6, in addition to all, take up the shield of faith, with which you will be able to extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Oh, in this world you will have trouble, Jesus said. We saw that in John 16, verse 33. This world is under the power of the enemy, we learn in 1 John 5:19. This is enemy territory, and the enemy takes pot shots at us. I don't know if you've experienced trouble in this world or not, but I imagine you have, and it's been at the hands of the enemy, has not been at the hands of God. We'll talk about that at another time. Maybe we already have. Oh my goodness, we've got to stop blaming God for the things that the enemy is doing against us. We're supposed to submit to God and resist the devil, and you won't resist him if you think that it's God doing stuff. And besides that, you won't raise up the shield of faith that is what we've got to use to stop those arrows, those flaming arrows that the enemy shoots at us. And so, I'm going to tell you today that shield of faith is Jesus. We see it in Galatians 2 and in verse 20. It says this, I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. Now that's my foundational verse, and I absolutely stand on that truth. But Christ is in me. Look at that. But now look at the rest of the verse, and it says, and the life I live in this body, I live by the faith of the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. I live in this realm by the faith of Jesus because Jesus lives on the inside of me. Now that's the gospel of faith. Oh, he told that to the disciples. We saw it in Luke. In Luke chapter 17, in verse 5, the apostles said to the Lord, increase our faith. Verse 6, and the Lord said to them, if you had faith like a mustard seed, you would say to this mulberry tree, be uprooted and be planted in the sea, and it would obey you. Now I've heard the sermon, and probably you have too. All you need is faith the size of a mustard seed, but that's not what this said. This said faith like a mustard seed. So let's see what that is. Back up to Gospel of Mark chapter 4. And look at verse 30. Jesus is talking about the kingdom of God. He says, how shall we picture the kingdom of God, or by what parable shall we present it? And then he says in Mark 4, 31 and 32, I know it's like a mustard seed, which when sown upon the soil, though it is smaller than all the seeds that are upon the soil, yet when it is sown, it grows up and becomes larger than all the garden plants and forms large branches, so that even the birds of the air can nest under its shade. If you had faith like a mustard seed. Now, a mustard seed doesn't have faith. It's a mustard seed. It's a seed. But if it had faith, its faith would not be in its size because it's the smallest seed. Its faith would be in the fact that it becomes the biggest branch, biggest tree of all the seeds in the garden. See, the faith of a mustard seed would be on what's on the inside of it. So let me remind you now of Galatians 2:20. For I am crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. And so I live by the faith of Christ. I live with faith of what's inside me. And by knowing that it's Jesus, I know I'm the victor. And so I shut down all the schemes of the enemy against me, and I walk in victory in this place. Oh, put on the shield of faith. Walk in this realm with the faith of Jesus. You don't need a little bit of faith. You need huge faith. And so see Jesus on the inside and walk in his faith in victory in this place. I look forward to being with you tomorrow to talk about the next piece of armor. God bless you.
Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. You can have all this world.